Hi, and welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Pastor Paul Steele from Bethlehem Church in Austin, Minnesota. Now, The Bottom Line is our weekly summary of the previous Sunday's sermon. And we are in this sermon series called Asking for a Friend, as we look at some of the difficult questions that people have about God, the Bible, what it means to follow Jesus. And this past Sunday, we looked at the question, why does a loving God send people to hell? Now, hell is a difficult doctrine in the Christian faith. Many of us would rather it not be there because we struggle with the idea of people being excluded from God, excluded from the life and the light that God has, and experiencing torment and suffering. And we think to ourselves, we wouldn't wish that on our worst enemies. And yet God allows this to happen. He created hell. So how do we handle this? Well, Jesus taught about the reality of hell, that there is this place and time of final judgment and punishment. But what we also have to remember is that hell was created for the devil and his angels, for those spiritual beings who rebelled against God, who declared that they weren't going to follow God's will. They were going to do things on their own. And when we, as human beings, joined in that rebellion, when Adam and Eve, our ancestors, decided that they were going to decide what good and evil was on their own, rather than listening to God, then we were part of that same rebellion. And that became our fate as well. But God is compassionate and merciful, and he wants everyone to be saved. And so he sent Jesus. And the whole story of the Bible points to Jesus, that Jesus would provide the way of salvation. But for us to have that, to experience that salvation, we have to do one very important thing, and that is to recognize Jesus as King. That Jesus is the King of the universe. And if we're going to be part of his kingdom, if we're going to experience resurrection and new life and new creation, then we have to declare our allegiance, our loyalty to Jesus. If we're going to be good citizens of the kingdom of heaven, then we have to submit to the authority, to the will of the King. That's what we need to do. And so those who miss out on the salvation that God gives are those who declare that they want to be their own authority, that they are not going to recognize Jesus as King, and that they're going to do what is right in their own eyes. And that reality should do two things. It should bring a tear to our eye, because we don't want to see people in hell apart from God. And it should spur us to make disciples of all nations and do what we can to help support discipleship efforts around the world. God is compassionate and loving, and he wants everyone to be saved. And so we need to join God in that mission of making disciples. Hey, thank you for being part of Bethlehem. And remember, you can join us on Sunday mornings for our time of worship, either here on YouTube, on Facebook, or in person next to Ellis Middle School here in Austin, Minnesota. If there's anything that I can be praying for you about, let me know. I'd be glad to pray for you. And if you want to join and support our ministry here in Austin, the best way for you to do that, one, is to pray. And the second way then is to give. And you can go to our website, BethlehemChurchAustin.com, and follow the Give tab to do that. Hey, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week, and see you on Sunday. God bless.